Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin.
Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns on the Grenier on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
Yo, what's going on? What the F just happened? And as I was turning it on, they switched to the Jets game. The Jets do the same exact thing. They block a field goal, scoop it up, and they score, and they just tied up the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. Crazy. Crazy. Jordan Davis got it done. Defense wins championships. What else you want? What else you want, dude? That was phenomenal. That was phenomenal, Los. Phenomenal. Jordan Davis. Yo, don't forget Jordan Davis at 350 or whatever he was, ran a 4.78 at the combine. That boy can move. But he also penetrated, got them big paws in the air, and got the block and secured the win. Secured the win. Now, what are we going to talk about? What the hell happened from the first half to the second half? And why couldn't we initiate that earlier? Well, the obvious answer is Fred Johnson going in there at right tackle. That made all the difference in the world. All the difference in the world. So Jalen Hurts throwing the ball at where he got to throw it, putting the ball in the air, giving A.J. Brown an opportunity to make the catches, and he made the catches. Now, I will say this. Devontae Smith, I thought that two-point conversion, I thought he could have had that. It is what it is. That was a good play by the defense. But crazy, man. 2 block field goals changed the game. You got 1:47 left. My man lost his helmet and made the tackle with no helmet on. Golly. So that was crazy. Now they showing the Eagles ending. Wow. That was phenomenal. That was phenomenal, man. That was a fun game to watch. Whew. Yeah, that was boy. Well, that'll get your blood pressure up. You know what I'm saying? Definitely get your blood pressure up, man. Yeah, hit the like button. Appreciate you, Magnificent. Hit that like button, dude. Oh my God, that was crazy. That you know what? But those are the games, those are the statement games that you need from your Philadelphia Eagles. Those are the games that you need from Jalen Hurts. Ended up with 226 and 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns in the air. Ain't that what you wanted? 3 touchdowns in the air. Now, here's my gripe. Let me get this out the way now, because this is a gripe now. I know we won, and I'm nitpicking because y'all know my rule. If you win, you nitpicking. If you lose, you complaining. However, we have got to run the ball outside. We got to run the ball outside. We got to stop. It can't just be Saquon making the cut and then bouncing it outside. We got to figure out a way to get him the ball outside. Zone reads, tackle, and out. Everything can't be inside the tackles, man. It can't be. We got to do better at that because they stack in the box. They recognize it, and we got to get it done. We got to get it done. That's my only gripe with that game. Saquon Barkley should be more effective. Now, he did miss a screen pass that could have got us an easy first down if he got his hands on the ball. He just dropped it. That was a good decision on Jalen. Check it down. Wasn't nobody open. He had about 8 to 10 yards of space. I'm trusting Saquon Barkley to make the first guy miss. So, but we got it done. We got the dub. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Yeah, hey man, we got to start running outside. You always have the choice because you always want to see what the defense is doing, but we need to start moving AJ and Devontae around, maybe flip-flopping the tight ends, even using Latu as a hybrid tight end / fullback, but line them up at tight end. Take Dallas out of the game or do something. You got to change the formation so you can get him outside. I think we'll just be better. The 1 4th down that we should have gotten, where Jalen Hurts almost threw the interception, there was nobody in the middle, but there were no routes in that area. There were no routes in that area. Dallas Goedert came about 5 yards deep. He had a linebacker right on him, but it was 10 yards worth of space in that mid to deep middle. Nobody there, and we couldn't do anything with it. But that's a situation that we got to go over watching the film. That'll be a film session thing. So, what do you want? You're not going to win all the battles. Puka Nacua, love that dude. There was some trash taunting calls, man, on both sides. Trash taunting calls. The taunting call on Puka Nacua, the taunting call on Jalen Carter, both of them were trash. Jalen Carter he was on the other side of the field. I don't care if he was looking at the bench. It's like they pussifying the NFL. Come on, man. If he's not in the guy's face, let it go. I can't explain how supremely difficult it is to bottle up your emotions after a big play like that. And that's exactly what the NFL is doing, and that is hard to do. So, in my opinion, both sides, when they called it on Nacua, that was trash. When they called it on Jalen Carter, that was trash. Hell, even when they called the one on AJ Brown, that was trash. Unsportsmanlike. That was trash. So, it is what it is. McClunky, that's going to be the conversation going through the city this week. Nobody's liking what Kevin Patullo was doing. Now, I will say this. That was losing Lane Johnson like that hurt. Because what you're not going to tell me is that Kevin Patullo didn't have nothing to do with what happened in the second half. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. He's just as much responsible for the first half as he was for the second. The difference was Fred Johnson going in at tackle. I forget who was the first tackle they put in there. I don't even want to remember his name right now. That made all the difference in the world, man. All the difference in the world. So, yeah, they stack in the box. I agree 100%. But let's remember, we got Lane Johnson went out early. So that makes a difference. Run blocking and pass blocking. Now, the one play that Jalen Hurts got clobbered, that was Saquon Barkley's fault. Saquon Barkley went outside to help the new tackle in there. I believe that was the second series he was in. Saquon stepped outside to help him, and he left the inside gap wide open. As a running back, you are taught you block inside to outside first. Always block inside first. You always look inside first. And Saquon stepped out way too quick. They came right through that gap, and they blowed his head off. So, and you can tell Jalen thought he was protected because that was his front side. That wasn't from the back. That's what makes it so bad. You got to protect the front side. That one was on Saquon Barkley. That was his fault. But yeah, Alex, I'm with you. Thank you for the super chat. And I'm trying to figure out why they don't want to run them. They got to come up with better plays outside. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of watching everybody else get their running backs outside. And you don't have to fool everybody. Sometimes they know it's coming, and maybe we get a 4 to 5 yard gain or something. But you got to spread the defense out and do something better. Then you can run a counter off of it. There's a lot of things you can do if they think we're going to the right or to the left, because it can't always be out of gun formation. Running backs do not want to run out of gun. They want to go forward. They don't want to have to go side to side. That's built in us as running backs. We want to go north and south. We don't want to go east and west, especially when you are behind the line of scrimmage. We need to be going forward behind the line of scrimmage. Now, last week against the Chiefs, we ran a couple of plays out with Jalen Hunter under the center. Traditional formation, traditional ace formation. And we just abandoned that. So I don't know what they're going to do. There'll be a lot of questions, but this was a game that we squeaked out. We battled back. And like I said, you got to give Patullo credit for the second half if you're gonna give him the blame for the first. So it's you got to go both ways, because I agree the first half looked pretty bad, and then they come out in the second half and they get things done. They make the switch at tackle. That made all the difference in the world. They gave Jalen Hurts time to stand back there and deliver the ball. Defense comes through in the clutch as usual, and we did what we had to do. So great game. Woof. Sometimes it comes down to stuff like that. Absolutely. I don't know. I was checking my man Seth Joyner's feed, and he was like, "Why you wait that long to bring him in?" A lot of people were saying the same thing, Alex. So yeah, got his head blowed off, bro. Yeah. So yep. Yeah, that was on Barkley, man. That play was on Barkley. So because the reason it wasn't like he chipped on the wrong side, because you can see Barkley looked, he just abandoned it. I don't know if that was, I have to look at it again. I don't think it was a late blitz, but you left his inside wide open. You can't, if anything, you get to his inside and you push him outside. But you never give up the ghost on the inside, man. Can't do that. Yo, the Browns beat the Packers? Did they? You lying. Hold on. Wow, they sure did. Joey Flacco didn't even score a touchdown. Jordan Love, only 183 yards, throws a pick. How did they lose? Oh my God, I can't wait for this. I lost that game. Oh my God, me and Tone's picks are going to be just god awful. God awful. Indiana just blasted Tennessee 41-20. Cincinnati got their ass whooped 48-10. Pittsburgh beat New England 21-14. We beat the Rams. Tampa Bay ends up coming back and winning against the Jets. Las Vegas got blasted. I did not see that happening with Washington. 41-24. Las Vegas got their ass whooped. Atlanta got whooped in Carolina 30-0. They got goose egged. Carolina coming through looking for real. Good grief. And then Jacksonville pulled it out of Houston. What is going on with Houston, man? 0-3. CJ Stroud, 25-38, 2 picks. He threw 2 picks. Trevor Lawrence did okay, 20 out of 40. He was 50% with a pick. So both quarterbacks didn't play relatively well. Texans didn't run the ball that great. Jaguars didn't run the ball that great. So Nico Collins with 104 yards receiving. So, wow. Crazy day at the games, man. Crazy day. Chargers beating Denver early. I want to see what Chicago going to do, man. I'm going to watch this game. But, whew, man, that was crazy, right? Hold my beer. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Magnificent. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming. What I tell y'all, man, early. You can't get caught up in what happens early, even at the game level. Because let me show y'all something. Let me just keep it 100. Let me keep it 100. Let me keep it 100. Hold on. Let me keep it 100. Um, check this out. Oh, that's right. I got my Twitter check, so I can go live on Twitter now. So you can catch me in both places. But I want y'all to see this. I hope y'all like my emotes. The reason why I didn't go live was because I was trying to get these emotes together. And eventually, what I'm going to do is when I live stream, all of these emotes that you see in my Twitter, I'm gonna have those on my live stream like they pop up like stingers. But I didn't have time to cut everything out and get them in like the way I wanted to, and I didn't want to keep going back and forth. So I just posted everything on Twitter. But next week I'm gonna have them ready for the live stream, and it's gonna look just something to have fun with it. Keep your eye interested. Don't let you get boring. And all it is going instead of me posting, all these emotes are just gonna pop up. And like this one, that's a frustration one, and it'll be after a penalty or something like that or a bad play. You get the idea. This one was after AJ Brown had a good catch. Um, this one was after the block. It was like LFG offense. I got some crazy looks, fist pumps, me looking at a play sheet, telling obviously these are a touchdown. I got this devious one and another one every time we run a tush push. I like this one personally. I think that's funny. Um, talking about Fred Johnson. So I got all of these emotes, right? And you can tell it's me. It's got my Eagles green hoodie. It's got the shirt I always wear. So did a good job with these, man. Did a good job with these. This was after touchdown. This was after okay, this is what I wanted to show. This is what I wanted to show right here, right? So this is what I said. And this was when it was like 26 to 7 or 20, whatever the score was before halftime. And I was like, this is officially a homecoming game. I'm leaving now so I can get a good seat at the step show. Like I posted this, right? You got to play the whole game. You got to play the whole game because you never know what's going to happen. And you never know who makes the play. You never know how things turn around. And just the mere fact, in my opinion, the game changed when they got Fred Johnson back in the game. That's when the game changed. They shored up the right side of the offensive line, and it made all the difference in the world. All the difference in the world. So, um, if for me, Fred Johnson gets the game ball. Jordan Davis gets 1-2 on defense. Fred Johnson gets the game ball on offense. If you want to give it to AJ Brown, I understand that. So Adore didn't look bad, but he got hurt. He got hurt. And you got Jacorian Bennett in there cold, and he did okay. And then Puka Nacua went to work, man. Puka Nacua is just that dude. Another 5th-round draft pick that nobody thought could play. I got love for anybody that comes from a small school or didn't get their shot. And I ain't gonna lie, that's why I like Puka Nacua. That's why I like Brock Purdy. That's why I like Jalix Hunt. That's why I like what's the receiver that we signed that made the squad from that small school. I like players like that. Me coming from Eastern Kentucky and making the Eagles as a free agent. Like I'm biased to guys like that really had the hustle and didn't get nothing handed to them. So always guys like that. So yeah, we didn't run the push as much. We got it in twice. And I thought they made a good point. I thought they made a good point on the broadcast when they kept saying play it at regular speed, because when people slow it down to the nth degree, that's not game speed. So the refs are not going to see that. So to me, that's really not an offsides, because what you're not taking into consideration is the time it takes for the center to hear the snap count and snap the ball. And if you are holding something, if you are holding a ball or anything, and you got to move it, you are going to move it a little bit slower than the guys that don't have it, because the guys are itching and ready to go. You get, if you are not the center, you have one command. Your command is go. If you are the center, you got two commands. Your first command is get the ball to the quarterback, then go. You got something that you have to do correctly, and there cannot be a mistake. So it's up to you to make sure he's got the ball. That is going to slow you down. So it's not, in my opinion, it's not jumping off sides. It's the fact that the center, Jurgens, is a little bit slow getting that ball back when everybody around him doesn't have to be. That's real. That's why you only see that when they slow it down. That's the same reason, if you remember last year, they tried to get all the offensive tackles from, it made it look like they were jumping back before the snap. When they hear that snap count, they can go. Not when the ball is snapped. When the snap count, now if Jalen calls for the ball and the center is a little bit late, that's different. That's a delay. If he don't snap the ball on time or he misses it, that's different. But you talking about just reaction time. That's a better process term for it. Look at the reaction time. Cam Jurgens' reaction time in snapping the ball is going to be slower than the reaction time of everybody else just getting off the ball. And then you got to worry about getting it back to Jalen. That's why. So good job on the broadcast talking about that. And then, freaking Howie Long on the Fox broadcast, the first thing he talks about is, the Eagles have got to, get their passing game together. Like, the Eagles just won the game, dude. Shut up. We just won the game, bro. And somebody on the panel was like, nah, let's talk about the Eagles win and this, that, and the other. And they were actively trying to just downplay what the Eagles did. They wanted to go straight to the negative. And it's like, nah, we just won the damn game. Talk about that. And see, and that's just what people constantly trying to bring whether he liked the tush pushers or whatever the situation was. And it's just like, and I noticed that, and I was like, why would you start it off like that? We just found a way to win. Let's talk about the win, not talk about we got to get the passing game together. Our passing game was better than damn Matt Stafford's. So now what? So now I tell you what, man, it's coming to light. All of these guys, all of these media heads, they showing they petty. They're showing all of that pettiness is coming out. And that's a prime example. Because you wouldn't do that with any other team. You wouldn't do that if it was Kansas City. You wouldn't have done that if LA had won the game. Matthew Stafford had thrown for 196 yards and a pick, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Jalen Hurts, 226, 3 touchdowns, no picks. And so if Stafford had won that game, would they have started the broadcast with the Rams' lack of a passing game? Hell no. They would have talked about finding a way to win the game. And they got to give Philadelphia the same amount of respect. So that's bullshit on Fox broadcast. That's BS on them. I'm calling BS on that. And somebody that I love watching, Howie Long, you should be better than that. That's BS, dog. Come on, man. So what's up, 3K? We got that dub, man. We got that dub. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I honestly, I think it was the whole situation with for Fred Johnson. So that's what I think. You know what? Let me turn on the mics, man. Let me open this up if you want to come on. I'm dropping the link right now, Chris. And listen, when I drop this link, if somebody is already on stage talking, I will bring up to 5 people on stage at the same time. So if you see somebody else and you want to get on, click the link and come on. I'll still bring you up. So, but yeah, that pissed me off with the broadcast, man. I didn't like that at all. So, got to be better. Yeah, yeah. But the fumble's not the sack nor the fumble was not his fault. He got blasted, and that's what happens. Um, I know people were talking about holding the ball too long. I don't think he was holding the ball too long. Um, you don't want anybody open. And again, when people say that about holding the ball too long, my thing is this. First of all, you can if your offensive line is doing what you're supposed to do. Second of all, you don't want him just throwing the ball anywhere. If he doesn't see it, don't throw it. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because if we don't get that pick, if Stafford doesn't throw that pick, we don't get the touchdown and we lose this game. We scored off that turnover. And if you take those points away, Rams win this game. So I don't want that. So I'm happy if we have less passing yards because it doesn't look good on the stat sheet, but we come out with the dub. I'm good with that. The Rams was in our ass for the first half, but you got to play 4 quarters. You got to play 4 quarters. So I would really like to see what Stafford did in the second half. I don't have the second half stats. Yeah, I wish I had his passing yardages and stuff like that for the second half. But Chicago just scored on Dallas. Let's go, Chicago. Let's go. All my picks are jacked up. I'm trying to see if they get anything. Stats, receiving, passing. Nah, they're not going to break it down like I want. I'm just going to find it, bring it out later. I'm going to be back on at 10:30 tonight. So, what's up? There we go. What's going on, Kelly?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Talk to me.
Man, that was one of the most raggediest games I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, the first half was.
The first half was.
The first half was.
It had me screaming and yelling. I was just going through all kinds of emotions, man. I didn't know what to think. But what I can say is that I noticed that Jalen is not really working very well when they're rushing him. I don't know whether they have to work on that or whatever the case may be, but it just seems like he was being rushed and he was all over the place. Saquon didn't get any time in really.
No.
His time for having that ball was just minimal. They had him covered all the way through the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of surprised that Smith got in there. I didn't even know Smith was playing, to be perfectly honest with you, until like the second half when he kept on catching the ball and everything. And then AJ, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what to say, Coach.
Here's the thing. You got to understand that the other guys get paid too. So I guarantee you, they went into this game. They watched the Dallas game. They watched the Kansas City game, and they saw how they matched up with AJ. They zoned him out. AJ's going to get open, but what you want to do is limit those opportunities, and that's what everybody's doing until we prove that they can't do that anymore. And I think today they did that.
Yeah.
Now, as far as what was going on in the first half, it is my opinion that everything changed up. Everything changed up when we got Fred Johnson in there.
Yeah.
Because we could not block the left side. Jared Verse was killing us. And Byron, what's the last name? Is it Jones?
Yes.
Byron Young.
The
edges were killing us on that right side. And I use this example. Look at what we did to Kansas City in the Super Bowl last year, because we knew Caliendo at left guard was horrible for Kansas City. And we exploited that, and he couldn't stop us. He was a turnstile.
Yeah.
And when Lane Johnson got hurt, we were in the same situation. So props to Jeff Stoutland for getting Fred Johnson in there and getting that other guy out of there. And that to me, that changed everything. That changed everything. Jalen got time. We started getting the ball on time, and we can do
Right.
that. I know the talk this week is going to be about Patullo, how good he is or isn't. But like I said earlier, if you gonna cuss him out for the first half, that means you got to give him credit for the second half, because Jalen
Right.
Hurts didn't do all of that on his own. So it had to be Patullo changing some things up. So you got to give him credit for that. So I understand the frustration, but you know, we got it done when we had to get it done. I want to go
True.
back and look at that 2-point conversion.
The other thing that I'm have after looking at all the games is that I really am not understanding the calls. When they call it, the referees, in my opinion, are really doing a lousy job. The stuff that they should be calling, they're not, and the stuff that they call is absolutely ridiculous. Like I couldn't even. They were saying something about what there was the one play where the guy was doing something like this or whatever, and
Yeah,
he
the
called
taunting.
taunting or something. I'm like,
Yeah,
come on, are you kidding me? And he wasn't even doing it to the other team player. He was it was the two Eagles that were standing there, and he did a
yep.
hand signal, and then they threw a flag, and I'm like, come on,
This
they're
this
not letting them play football.
that is something, and I've said this before. I get an opportunity to take part in competition meetings. When I say
Hmm.
take part, I'm listening.
Right,
Sometimes you get an
right, I
opportunity
understand.
to ask questions, but I'm listening to Troy Vincent and what he's trying to do. And the NFL is trying to get taunting out of the game. There's no other way to put it.
Mm.
And I thought the penalty on Puka Nakua was trash. I thought the penalty on I know, even though the one with AJ Brown was unsportsmanlike because he slapped the guy in the helmet, but I was like, ref, you saw the whole interaction. Wow,
Yeah, I mean,
come
if
on.
you're going to penalize one, you needed to do the other. I mean,
This,
come on.
this ain't
You
fifth
know,
grade.
they
And
had
then
me cussing at my television. It didn't make any sense.
I think the one
You
you're
know.
talking about was the one with Jalen Carter. I thought
Hmm.
I thought that was trash as well. So um I don't know what this is, something that they're doing, and it's not going to stop. And the only
No.
thing you can do is they're going to keep doing this until the players get it. Like, if you want to celebrate, just don't face the team doing it. Don't face the team. So I don't know.
Right. Right.
I think the reason why they called Nakua on that penalty where he did the flex was because he spun the ball in his face. If he hadn't spun
Oh.
the ball, I don't think they would have called anything. So I think they're going to get a lot of. I think they're going to get a lot of feedback on that, and maybe they'll
Hmm.
back off of it a little bit. But I agree, some of that stuff is just the emotion of the game, and that is very hard to control while the game is going on. So I don't know.
You know,
3K,
the
what's going
sad
on,
part
bro?
about this whole thing is that it's taken basically the fun out of the game too.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, I think that let's be honest, it's entertainment. Why not celebrate? And it's gotten to the point where, I mean, not all celebrations are bad, and I think that a lot of the referees are getting a little over, taking it a
Um,
little too seriously.
they're not. That's what they are being told to do. Don't get it
Um,
twisted. They are telling them to call it. They are
mm,
telling them to call it. So it is what it is. They got to get
mm,
what they're trying to do is they are trying to force the players to. They want it to click for them. Like, hey, we've been telling you this. We've been telling you it's coming. It's up to you to stop doing it. If you
right,
can do all of these crazy plays and do incredible things, you should have enough discipline to not do that. That's the NFL's logic when it comes to that.
right.
And Puka Nakua is probably going to get a fine. Jalen Carter's probably going to get a fine. AJ Brown's probably going to get a fine.
Hmm.
Um, and I agree with you. It's very hard to regulate that with the emotion of the game, but that's what they're trying to do.
Also, I wanted to ask your opinion about what do you think? It's in my opinion, does it seem like every so often Jalen's trying to bring it in himself? If he's not getting anywhere in yards, in passing yards, it seems like he switches off where he's just going to bring it in himself. Do you think that doing that he's risking injury on himself, or do you think that we just need to do a better job in protecting him?
A little bit of both. I know
Hmm.
sometimes he pulls it up. He sees something that right off the bat, and he might get it in his head to go with it. But
Hmm.
that's his game. That's
Right.
ain't nothing you can do about it. If he didn't do that, he wouldn't be the quarterback he is. We wouldn't have a Super Bowl champion. So
That's true.
you got to take the good with the bad. for the most part, more times than not, Jalen usually makes the right decisions in situations like that. Take out the situations where he's just scrambling. Protection breaks down, he's got to get out of there. Take that off the table. That's him doing what he got to do. But
Right.
when he sees something or they call something, we had a couple of called runs. One was okay, and the other one he ended up getting like 11 yards. So that's something that keeps the defense honest. When we played Kansas City, they talked about maybe they should put a spy on them. So if you got to put a spy on the quarterback, that means that you're taking somebody out of coverage. So that works to our advantage. So there are pluses and minuses to it, to be sure. But the way Jalen Hurts plays the game, that is a part of his game. You can't take it away.
Okay.
That's the risk.
Right. Right.
So that's the risk. 3K, you in?
What it do, Coach? I'm here.
What's going on, bro?
I didn't want to just, I'm not rude. I was being courteous to the conversation, so I just took a backseat while y'all was kind of going back and forth, but I was here. But, man, what a game. What a game.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
What you like, what you didn't like?
Okay, I'm going to start with what I didn't like, because that's the first thing. I don't know, and I hope the second half, because I've been saying this all week in the past couple weeks. I'm not sure how much of it falls on Patullo, Sirianni.
That's going to be a common theme this week.
Yeah, because clearly anybody with eyes who watched that game, that second half, that is not the same offense that we watched the first week, second week, and the first half and first drive of this game, because the first drive was when the fumble happened. After that point, that was not the same offense. That wasn't the same team. None of that. We outscored them 26-0 in 2 quarters, basically. Like, we were down 26-7. We won 33-26. We went on the 26-0 run. So anybody, like, all this talk about, well, we don't want to force the ball to AJ. No, force the ball to AJ. I don't care. And I don't want to hear nothing about, and I respect, obviously, your perspective about what the other team gets paid to and this and that. Look, I respect that. Throw him the ball. I don't care who over there. I don't care how much they get paid. I don't care who the DC is over there. Throw 11 the ball.
I agree with that.
Ball. And sometimes, like, those are great throws by Jalen, but sometimes, and this is what I was talking about, what we've been asking for. You see all these other teams in the leagues do it. Give your guy a chance, man. Just give him a chance to make a play. And those were some grown man catches. Like, it wasn't, some of them was wide open. Not wide open. Some of them was open. But it was a couple of those on 3rd and 10. It was just, I'm going to get the ball. Like, it don't matter who's over here. I'm getting this ball and I'm getting this first down. And I'm like, that's what we've been waiting on. Like, that's what we've been asking for. Like, and to me, and we said it, I never thought it was Jalen, because clearly when he need to do it, you see what it looked like. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I'm like, the frustrating part somewhat is like, what took it so long? You know what I'm saying? Like, you would love to not have to go down 19 to do so, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We were able to, get out of that shell that they were in and pull it out. But man, I'm like, yo, that's it right there. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying it. I'm not worried about Saquon, man. Saquon will get his eventually. It's bound to happen. But sometimes, whereas we always say you got to run to set up the pass, sometimes you got to pass to set up the run. You got to back them up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of, and I know you do the WNBA thing a lot, in basketball. Sometimes you got to blow somebody, you got to blow by some, or you got to, what's the word? You got to back somebody up a little bit to create that space so you can, make a move. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And football is the same concept, where sometimes you got to throw it a little bit to back these dudes up, man. Because everybody was playing in the past few weeks. They've been playing at the line of scrimmage, because it's like, well, they're not going to throw it over our heads anyway. But the threat of that just opens everything up, man. And I'm like, what's so hard? And I'm like, the thing that I hated, the discourse that I was hating, was that people kept saying, well, do you want Jalen to throw an interception? And I'm like, who said he got to throw an interception? He didn't throw no pick in that second half.
That specifically, there were some guys on WIP on the radio this past week that made those comments.
They did. And my thing was always in the mindset that y'all are not taking into context, one, how good, our quarterback is, one.
Right.
and to the type of team we got. Like when Jalen plays his game, the way he's capable of playing, and when they let him play his game, you see what this team look like. It's a juggernaut. We spotted them a 19-point lead and
We
beat them by
did.
7 in the same half. Like, if you the Rams, you got to be basically demoralized. At this point, it's got to be. I don't know what we can do to beat this team. Like, we had them down in the playoff game last year. We thought we was going to win. Didn't do that. Saquon ran all over us the first game. Today we up 19 and we still lose. Like, it just has to be a thing where it's like we can't do nothing with this team. And that's, for me, the only frustrating thing that I wasn't getting with some of the people that were talking about the Eagles, particularly the offense. I'm like, y'all, do y'all see the potential that this team has? Like, this is crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, look, man, great win. Obviously, you don't want to spot teams 19. And I actually thought real quick, too, the defense wasn't as bad as I thought. They were in a couple tough spots because it was the fumble. I thought the Devontae catch was for sure offensive pass interference. He pushed off on Reed clearly.
I agree.
He pushed off. So I don't think the outside of that, I don't think the passing defense was too horrible. I thought the run defense left a lot to be desired. I thought they could have been better in the run, slowing down Kyron. But all in all, man, I think if anything today should just validate anybody out there who was, like, oh, we don't need to pass, or why should we risk putting the ball in the air? That's why you do that, because that's the only way you can overcome deficits like that is when you say, hey, QB1, who's already delivered us to 2 Super Bowls and won one, go take the game over. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear today like, oh, he had more talent, because Stafford had 2 receivers too, like Jalen did. He had his tight end there, he had a run game, and Jalen outplayed him. Period, point blank. It was nothing about Jalen had the better roster today. He outplayed him down the stretch when they mattered most. He delivered. So, if anything, it should just validate how important it is to get AJ and Smitty and Dallas. Dallas had a TD too. Get them guys going, man. What a game! What a game!
Thanks, bro.
See, I'm not as well diverse into the stats and the players' names as I should be, but I've been watching football for a very long time. I just started getting into it maybe within the last, I guess, 3 years, I guess. So I'm like still learning a lot. And I've been an Eagles fan ever since I can remember, since I was a teenager, but I just started getting into it in my older years. But I enjoy a good game, an exciting game. And just like that gentleman said, like, it wasn't what we wanted, but it was a very good game, I must admit.
Yeah, it's I'm big on. I try to tell people, try to understand the game and educate yourself on the game.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to Barrett Brooks, watch Greg Cosell, watch Brian Baldinger, watch the guys that break down the game, because it's not as cut and dry as how come you're not throwing AJ the ball.
Right.
Not that simple. You got to see what they're doing on the other side. What kind of coverage? Is it match coverage? Is it zone coverage? Is it man to man? And then you got the next part of that is, okay, look who's in the lineup. Look at what they're doing. What's the cornerback? The cornerback that was going up against AJ most of the day. He was a first round draft pick a couple years ago. He's pretty good. I believe he played from Washington. Dang it, I'm blanking on his name right now. But somebody will put it in the chat probably. But he's good, real good. So that's why I say you got to respect the other guys on the other side of the ball. However, I agree with you. I agree with you, Chris, that every now and then you got to take the shot. You got to go downfield, and we have done that. But when you have a breakdown in pass coverage, when you have a breakdown in pass protection, some of that stuff gets thrown out. I know everybody was talking about that play last week. The first play of the game against Kansas City, A.J. Brown is wide open, and we don't get him the ball because the tight ends missed the block. That's one small breakdown that wrecks the play. If Jalen gets that ball to A.J., the whole conversation about the passing game is totally different. Totally different. True. If we don't get those 2 plays down the middle, the one play to Goddard where he scored on, but if we don't get that long play from AJ Brown down the right side where he basically one hands it, again, we might be having a totally different conversation about the passing game. So there's a lot that goes in it. It's a layered conversation. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it isn't. But in this particular case, when we came out the second half, now everybody and Chris, we gonna hear it here in Philadelphia all week. What happened in the second half
For
of the
sure.
game? It wasn't good. We're gonna be hearing that all week. So that's gonna be the topic of conversation. But I'm so glad we can have that conversation with a W in the column instead of
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm wearing my
Absolutely.
nursing cap tomorrow. Well, if they had lost, I would have worn my Eagles nursing cap. It wouldn't have made no difference.
Absolutely.
I would have came in there strutting just to proud. And I got a lot of Miami fans where I'm at, and I'm like, whoo, sorry. There's always room in the Eagles side if y'all want to come. To the Eagles
Absolutely.
so
Oh,
I get it all the time, you know. So
Man, that was great. That was inspiring, that second half, man. The end of the second half, or the end of the game, the way they finished up, man. That was inspiring. Like you said, I know it's gonna be the talk of the town in Philly sports talk radio, but you know, I'm just like, you can see, and I think, like I was saying, that's why it was so frustrating watching them, because you know the potential that the team got.
Yeah.
It's just who was
not
responsible
just the talk of the
for.
town in Philadelphia. You should see my operating room when the surgeons and all of us get to talking football in there.
Is
surgery,
yeah.
So-
Yes,
so-
indeed.
so hopefully
They rag me all the time about my Eagles hat. I'm telling you, brother, I wear it. You know, and matter of fact, little tip today. My husband is a Rams fan. And so
sorry
I
about
was
that.
making fun of him. I said, it's lightning and thundering right now in Fort Lauderdale. I said, hear that? I said, lightning just hit your car outside.
Oh my God! Give him the business. Give him the business.
That's funny.
Give him the business.
That's funny because, Coach, I told you I'm 5 minutes up the street from SoFi, so they had their little watch party going on. And,
Okay.
Soon as
Nice.
soon,
I bet it
soon
was
as,
loud in the first half.
Yeah, it was loud. It was loud. As soon as Davis had his little block, all the noise kind of just stopped for some reason. I'm like, they probably, you know, saying when they realized it was over with, that's what it was. But yeah, I'm up the street from SoFi, so when they was rolling and, you know, when we were struggling, they was having a time. And then once the momentum started swinging our way, you could kind of hear them getting nervous, and eventually all the partying and music stopped. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of when it was like over with.
Did did you hear my comment earlier? When I first got on, I found one of my tweets. I'll bring it up again. It was right before halftime. And I was like, I said, yeah, this is homecoming. I'm leaving early because I want to get a good seat for the step show. Because it was I think the alphas are stepping first. We gotta it was ugly. It was ugly. But that just goes to show one person can make that difference. One person can make a difference. And for me, that game ball should go to Fred Johnson. Fred Johnson and AJ Brown get the game balls. And Jordan Davis.
Yeah, Davis especially.
Yeah.
That big guy, he ran as hard as he could all the way to the goalpost with that football.
Hey, people forget Jordan Davis, when he was almost 360, ran a 4.78 at the combine.
Oh, that's right. Yes, he did. That's right. Yes, he did.
Just to compare, when I went to the combine, I ran a 4.72. So the fact that a man that big can move that fast. Now, when he has to move that fast, usually he come off the field. So I remember he made a tackle last season where he ran somebody down. It may have been against the Rams again. But after that play, they had to take him out of the game. He was like spent.
Yeah, he was done. I remember that game.
That big man.
Yes, he can.
So, he gets my game ball for the day. Him and Fred Johnson. He got it done. So happy we got the win, and
absolutely,
that's the way it goes too. I'm gonna be back. I'm probably gonna go tonight at 10:30 again, so I can recap all of the games. But I gotta.
Who do we have next?
The next game we are.
I know it's away.
And this was the first game of the toughest part of our schedule, I believe.
Yes, it is.
So, what's today? The 28th. We got
No,
Tampa,
21st.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa.
Yeah, we got Tampa Bay next
Uh,
Sunday at 1. That's gonna be a good.
yeah.
But Tampa Bay lost today.
Yeah, they did. They did. I was looking at that earlier. They won?
Yeah.
They won against it?
The Jets.
They won against the Jets. That's right. That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
they came
At
back.
last
They came-
minute,
that's right.
they did win against the Jets. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
that's right.
turned
They
the
did.
game-
They won
Yep.
won just at last minute, almost like we did.
Well, I turned the game. I turned it because it was the game that came on up here in the Philly,
Mhm.
Philly area. They switched to that game after our game ended. And
Right.
They showed the field goal block, and they
Right,
tied it
right.
up, and then so they came back and won that. But that's going to be a good game because Todd Bowles usually has our number.
And see,
So-
I'm on this NFL ticket thing, which has a unusual delay. It's like almost like a 3-minute delay or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was on the phone with my daughter. She lives in Hawaii. Her husband serves in the United States Navy. They actually, I heard her husband say, "Oh, he blocked it again." But I thought he was watching he was watching the Eagles. He's also an Eagles fan. I thought he was watching another game on his laptop because
Yeah.
they get the games a little early. And so I didn't pay him no mind when he said that. So when I started screaming and yelling, when Davis picked up the ball and ran all the way to the goalpost, he said, "Oh, Mom, we already know that they won." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, thanks for telling me." He
Yeah.
said, "No, we didn't want to take that away from you." And, that was pretty much it. But man, that was a good game. And like I said, when they play Tampa,
We got to be on
they're like
point.
a slow drink. I think that Tampa's like a slow drink. They could catch up to us.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield is playing well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But you didn't see. It'll be interesting to see all of the rhetoric about Jalen's passing because I'm looking at.
They done already started, Coach. They done already started.
Well, I'm looking at what everybody else is doing. So Baker
Yeah.
Mayfield 233. I'm trying to see what all the other winning quarterbacks are doing. Seattle is giving the Saints the business right now. I'm trying to see Pittsburgh and New England. Aaron Rodgers, 139 yards passing. They
Yeah.
won 130 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Okay.
I know.
Minnesota. Let me see. What did Minnesota do? Box scores. 352 yards passing. Vikings.
I'm still trying to
Carson
figure
Wentz.
out how Aaron Rodgers got to Pittsburgh, but that's another conversation for another day.
Carson Wentz threw for 173 yards.
He threw for how many, Coach?
Who?
173. Carson Wentz started for the Vikings today. 173
Oh, and
yards.
he 73 yards.
Yep. 14
Oh,
for 20,
okay.
173 yards, 2 touchdowns. So I'm just going in to see what all of these winning quarterbacks are doing, and nobody's putting up gaudy numbers.
Right. And Dallas is playing the Bears at in Chicago, I think.
Yeah, it's 14-3. The second quarter just started. It's 14-3 Chicago. But
okay.
Dallas is in the red zone right now. Dallas is on the 13-yard line going in.
Okay.
But see, Coach, my thing was I had came from the perspective of, for me, and obviously you play for the Birds and you know the franchise history. The way I've always seen it, especially since we've had this core, I feel like this is the greatest collection of offensive talent that the franchise has ever had. Like, if you look at from quarterback to all of, the offensive line when healthy, Saquon, the receivers, this is the best team ever assembled on offense. And so that's why, for me, the expectation was high, is because this team is so good and you see how capable it is when they play, when they let Jalen really do his thing. And that's why, for me, it was never, so much critiquing Jalen. It was just more so like, this team is so good and the potential is so high that when they don't achieve it, yeah, they can still win, but the potential is so high, you don't want to see that not being maximized. That was the only standpoint I was coming from with it. Because I'm with you. Those other quarterbacks, like like you said, Aaron threw for 130 and Carson threw for 173, and he got Jettas over there, so he got some tools to work with, and he got the quarterback whisperer. He got Kevin O'Connell. You know what I'm saying? So he should be, guys is maybe not throwing for these big numbers and yards. And I think a lot of it too is the way defenses are schemed out is to take away those big plays. But man, I'm like, with the team we got, listen, I'm just like, our offensive talent, including the quarterback, this is including Jalen, it's got to be top 3 in the league. So
it's here's the thing, and I picked this up.
Mm-hmm.
I researched this.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I talked about this when me and Tone did our
in the morning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hold on for a second. Hold on, universe. I'll drop the link again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. There you go. Jump in, and I can bring you in. And we talked about this on the pregame show, and I added this up: Carolina Panthers, Chicago Bears, Cleveland Browns, Houston Texans, Kansas City Chiefs, the Dolphins, Saints, Giants, Jets, Titans. 4,228 yards, 23 touchdowns, 13 interceptions were all 0-2. So all of those passing yards, almost 4,300 passing yards, and everybody was 0-2. So a lot of times the stats get overrated.
Right.
So you got all of that production with no wins.
No, I agree.
To me, it doesn't matter. It's what you do against the common opponent, and can you do that right? When you get that opportunity. And today we took advantage of those opportunities. You don't. Me and Tone were talking this morning about you don't win. Or coaches like to say this: you don't win. You don't win or lose a game on a play.
Right.
Which is true technically. However, you play to get those opportunities, and when that opportunity comes, somebody's got to take advantage of that opportunity. When Dallas lost, everybody talked about CeeDee Lamb dropping those 3 passes. Those were 3 opportunities for Dallas to win the game, and they couldn't capitalize on.
Couldn't do it.
Same thing with Kansas City. Kansas City, they run that same play a bajillion times with Travis Kelce doing that dig route, coming back on the inside. That play works 9.9 out of 10 times. This was the 0.01. It didn't work. So they got their opportunity and they didn't take advantage of it. Jordan Davis made the opportunity happen. We took advantage of it, and we end up winning the game.
Absolutely.
When we got the first turnover, Zach Bond gets that pick. We score on that pick. We took advantage of that turnover. So when it happens with stuff like that, you just got to be ready to go with it. And we did it, and they didn't.
No question about it. You 100% on the money with that, Coach. There's no pushback for me. Like I said, that's just my perspective. I've always been of the mindset. And what you're saying is true about the number of yards that guys is throwing for.
Yeah.
But we different though, Coach. We Super Bowl. I don't think we should be thinking the way the rest of the league thinks in terms of. I agree with you that stats don't necessarily lead to wins. I don't agree with that. You're 100% right. However, that second half should show. There's no way in the world we should ever have that much trouble on offense, though. Not that bad as it was in the first half. It don't got to be, lights out, 400 yards, not that. Because that don't mean nothing in terms of necessarily winning and losing. But when you see, I firmly believe this game right here is exactly, if you want to see the 2 contrasts of what the Eagles look like sometimes and what they can look like, today was exactly what it can be. You can see how bad it was in the first half and for how good it was in the second half after the fumble. You can see the 2 different teams that took place today. And that's why it's like, even if you ain't got, I'm with you. I don't think you got to throw for 4,000, this and that. But I'm also of the mindset we should never have that much trouble considering what we just did to a really good team, too, and a really good defense. That wasn't a weak team. That's a contender. And we walked them down from 19. So I think that's just where I'm at. I'm in the middle where it's like, you don't got to throw for 4,000. But we got too much talent to ever look as bad as we did in the first half. We had 34 yards of offense.
Yeah. I agree.
That's just where I'm at.
So, who's this? Animals? Is this Galaxy?
Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me on.
What's going on, man?
Hey, well, you know what? Actually, no matter what happens, I want to give you credit for something. I go on a lot of shows, and whenever I go on shows, you get all kinds of weird reactions, even if it's not me. Someone else joining, people have all kind of things. Who is this guy? Why is he here? Who does he work for and all that? But you put me on right away. No restrictions. It was pretty free. So no matter what happens, I want to give you credit for the way you do your show, man.
Appreciate that, man.
Thanks. Okay, so yeah, I was doing my own show and I was told, confirm this. Do you guys go over all topics or do you only stay on football?
Most of it, I mean, because we're talking about after the game, I'm gonna go on football. But normally, if I'm during the week, I'll talk about anything, man. I do a lot of content with the NFL, obviously being an ex-Eagle. And after the game, especially today is NFL Sunday, so we focus on football. But I do a lot of WNBA content. I dabble a little bit in like NASCAR, track and field, other stuff that I'm interested in. But like a day like today is basically all football, bro.
Oh, okay. Then you know what? I'm gonna mess up your show, man.
It's all good.
One of
What
my
you
guys
got?
was telling me it's gonna be a non-football topic. So one of my guys was telling me, hey, these guys go over all kinds of topics, which is true. But if it's today all football, I don't want you to feel like I'm hijacking your show or changing.
No. I got you, man. What you got? What you got?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I got a lot of topics. One of them here. It's gonna sound like you might say it's not a good topic, but believe me, if we get into this, it's gonna be good. I've come to the conclusion, out of all the sports fans in the history of mankind, doesn't matter what sport, Michael Jordan fans are the worst sports fans of all time.
Michael Jordan fans.
That's right.
I
As
was never a
somebody
fan
that,
of him.
I understand that. I understand that comment, and I
But I want you to understand, I'm not just saying they're bad fans or they're the worst NBA fans or they're the worst sports fans today. I'm saying they are the worst sports fans of all time.
you know what? Here's how I look at that, and I'll make the comp because we get a lot of that same Eagles fans get a lot of that same type of criticism, but from where I sit and what I went through, because I was in my 20s when that happened. You know, when Michael Jordan happened, I was 14. I was 84, right? And then 2 years later, ESPN happened. I mean, ESPN started in 78, but Sports Center didn't really blow up until Michael Jordan went crazy, until the dunk started happening. And then that's when you got the da. That's where all of that came from. Michael Jordan started that. So when I saw Jordan, to me, what happened was Jordan broke the threshold. And what I mean by threshold is if you're talking about basketball, if you're talking about football, any sport, doesn't matter. You find somebody that doesn't know anything about sports. You mentioned Michael Jordan, you mentioned Tiger Woods, you mentioned, like right now, if you mentioned Caitlin Clark, there are people that break the threshold. Jordan was the first person that I remember breaking that threshold in my lifetime. Where if you didn't follow basketball in the least bit, you knew who Jordan was, you wanted to be like Mike, and all of that type of stuff. And what happened was you had a generation of fans that if they just happened to find themselves in the basketball conversation, Michael Jordan was the go-to answer. Or I don't have a favorite team, but I'm a Michael Jordan fan. So then I'm a Bulls fan. And then that's where, you know, they wearing Bulls paraphernalia and all that kind of stuff. And they couldn't tell you how many free throws he shot in the game. So,
but just real quick, somebody, I don't want you to think it's me. Somebody has background noise, but it's not me. I don't want to think it's me.
I think that's Chris. I got him. But so that's I understand where you coming from with that, because a lot of people, Michael Jordan became a default answer. You watch basketball? Yeah. Who's your favorite player? Michael Jordan. Well, you don't watch basketball. You know, it's the same thing with LeBron James. It was the same thing with the Lakers. It was the same thing with Tom Brady, with the Patriots. A lot of people don't realize how bad the Patriots were before Tom Brady got there. They were like a laughing stock. So then they turn it around, and now it gets to the point where people were sick of seeing Brady win. So, you know, I'm here in Philadelphia. I want them type of problems.
So I'm going to tell you. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, but I understand what you mean when you say that, and there are a lot of people like that.
Yeah. So a lot of what you say, I agree with. So a lot of what you say, I don't agree with. But here's the key one. Okay. A lot of what not a lot actually. I take that back. Some of what you say, respectfully, are the type of things that a Michael Jordan fan would say. And based on what you told me about being 1984, growing up in that time, you were 14, I'm going to assume, and I'm assuming this, you can tell me if I'm wrong, obviously, some of the takes you had you're thinking those things partly for the same reasons they're thinking it. In other words, you're influenced by that time, you grew up with that time, you have a bias for that time or whatever. I'll give you a quick
Right.
example. A quick example. You're right. You are 100% right when you say Michael Jordan was the first in your lifetime. That I'm not disputing him. He was not just the most famous basketball player, he was the most famous sports star. I mean, there's
Correct.
people who didn't even know sports and they would know him. You can go to mountains in Germany, mountains in Africa, mountains in India, wherever, and somebody might have heard Michael Jordan somewhere.
Right.
But then there's more to the story. Why is it when I hear someone say, for example, oh, today's NBA is soft. All they do is stand around and shoot threes. They don't play defense and all that. And I find out that the guy saying that is a 13-year-old guy. Why is he saying the same things that a 40-year-old guy would say? In other words, either he knows something that no one else from his generation knows, or he's influenced by Michael Jordan fans. What I'm trying to tell you is Michael Jordan fan transcends the 80s and 90s. There's people alive today who will tell you the same things that Michael Jordan fans said back then. And you have to ask yourself why. It's because they're learning from the same places. They're in love with Michael Jordan. And then they
Yeah,
become
and cycles repeat.
right. You
Because
said it. You know what? You're one of the few people I've ever met where even if I didn't agree with 100%, you picked up on it. The cycle repeats. When they were growing up, they had old timers telling them all the time, oh, the NBA is too hip hop. It's too black. There's too many tattoos. They don't got good fundamentals. All they do is give people the Jimmy and cross people up. They just dunk. They're not like good. They don't have like they don't know how to play the game the right way. And then they didn't agree with those old guys, and now they're older and they're doing the same things, and they don't even
same
realize.
thing. Same.
Yeah.
The cycles repeat, bro. And let me give you a great example, bro. We Philadelphia Eagles fans. We hear that shit from the Cowboys fans all the time, and the Cowboys ain't won in 30 years. The last time the Cowboys won the championship, everybody was logging in with AOL.
Amen.
But you still, if you want to watch the Cowboys championship tape, you got to get a VHS.
Yes, indeed.
Or like I give you a good example. My logic when it comes to Cowboy fans, and this goes to the older generation and the new generation. You got young people that are Cowboys fans that are obnoxious as anybody else, because all they want to do is talk about the Cowboys and how many rings you got and this, that, the other. And my thing is like, listen, if you wasn't old enough to see Larry Allen and Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman and all of those guys play in real life, I don't want to hear from you.
Exactly.
Now, if you were a Cowboys fan back in the 90s when they were running over everybody, talk your talk. It's the same thing with Bulls fans. You got kids that still want to rep the Bulls and still wear 23 like they actually saw 23 play. And the reality of the situation is you didn't never watch Michael Jordan play. You saw Space Jam like everybody else. Stop playing.
But there's differences. There's differences. I never saw one game from start to finish where Willie Mays played or Babe Ruth played or Muhammad Ali. Well, Muhammad Ali boxing, you could find it on YouTube. Bad example. Or some athlete where I never saw a game start to finish because I wasn't there and the tape is not available. But there's a difference between those people, like the Cowboys fans you brought up or Philadelphia fans. Those can be bad fans anywhere. There's a difference between regular bad fans versus Michael Jordan fans. I'll give you a great example. You gave an example about rings. Oh, hey, how many rings he got? That started with Michael Jordan fans. Before Michael Jordan fans, nobody was saying, oh, Willie Mays is better than Jackie Robinson because he got one or more rings. Or, you know what, Jerry West is better than Elgin Baylor because he got one or more rings. This became a thing because Michael Jordan fans started saying 6 rings, 6 for 6,
Exactly.
0, no game 7. And then other people would say, well, if Michael Jordan is a standard with 6 rings, then in football, is Tom Brady the best because this many rings? And Babe Ruth, how many World Series he has? So that's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't say you're wrong. I say whatever you come up with, Cowboys fans, Philadelphia fans, Tiger Woods fans, whatever, they're worse with Michael Jordan fans. It's not even close.
That's in my opinion, that is the natural evolution of fans. And then you got to add in, because back then there was no social media. But ESPN was there. ESPN changed everything. Right. So if you, and I think this lends into why you think the Bulls fans or the Jordan fans are the worst, is because if you grew up in that time frame, every morning without fail, you saw highlights. Remember back then, ESPN Sports Center came on twice a day. It came on in the morning before you went to school, and it came on after you got home
After
at like
you,
7
that's
p.m.
right. I remember.
So remember, 7 p.m. You get home from school around 2:30, 3 o'clock. You had to do your homework. You went outside and play. 7 o'clock. You ate dinner at like 6. So 7 o'clock, everybody was sitting down watching Sports Center. So everybody was inundated with highlights. It was
So-
Jordan everything.
See, back in my day, it was Julius Irving.
Doc J,
It was
yeah.
Maurice Cheeks. I think the trophy. Who won the Sixers won one year back in the 80s. I'm trying to think. Was it
Yeah.
85, Coach? I think.
But who was the rivals?
Yeah,
Boston.
it was. Yeah,
The Lakers.
exactly.
Lakers.
Exactly. It was Boston that was our rival because Larry Bird was
Was winning
our
everything.
nemesis, if for all intent purposes, and yeah, I think it was those guys back then, and I don't think we idolized them too much. I don't think it was that. I think it was just more and less the whole team than just one particular player, because it was a different time back then.
Yeah.
So I don't think
we
it was
did,
just
but
like Julius Irving. I think it was like, we had our it was the whole team that was basically idolized. I don't think it was just down to one player in Philadelphia. I mean,
No, I think it was. I just think it manifested itself differently back then.
Well,
yeah.
I got to. So I want you to think about something. When I say that Michael Jordan fans are the worst sports fans of all time, which they are, but when I say that, I don't base it on one thing or two thing or three things. It's actually a very simple thing that I do. I just count how many things do the general fans come up with. When I say general, obviously I don't know every fan. I don't know what every fan thinks, but there's a general amount of things where they're factually wrong, or they contradict themselves, or they make things up, or whatever. And when you count the number of things, just count them up. Nobody comes close to them. I'll give you an example. The lady brought up Dr. J. If somebody went up to the lady and said, I think Dr. J was a great player, but I don't think he's number one, she wouldn't flip out. She would just maybe say, oh, okay, or who do you pick? And if the guy goes, I pick Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, she might say, okay, and she might go over it. But if you tell a Michael Jordan fan, hey man, Michael Jordan is not the greatest NBA player of all time, they'll say things like, oh, you must be a LeBron sexual. Like,
exactly.
Nobody ever said, if you don't pick Babe Ruth, you must be a Willie Mays sexual. Or like ESPN, you brought up ESPN. ESPN does a poll. Who is the greatest NCAA basketball player of all time? These people voted for Michael Jordan. I'll give you another example. ESPN had a documentary in 1998 about the 100 greatest athletes of the entire 20th century. 100 years. Michael Jordan won that thing. He was the number one athlete of the entire century. I'll give you one more, just one more. They'll say things like, Michael Jordan won games by himself. The point I'm trying to show you is there's a pattern. No other group of sports fans has as many questionable things as Michael Jordan fans. If you find someone, if you say, look, I got Dallas Cowboys fans, I found 28 things with them, I'll find 49 things with Michael Jordan fans. I'll find way more.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's the Jordan fans are like, I don't care, because I figured out that, and I got to tell people now, it's like, listen, I played at the highest level, so my perspective is a little bit skewed, but I can still call things like I see them because I also coach, so I have a very critical eye, so I can take a player that I loved and say, okay, he played like trash. I'm okay with that, but we live in this social media landscape that don't want to have conversations, period. That's the problem. It's either my way or the highway, and there's no discussion in between. There's different levels to everything that you talk about. I remember, I'll tell you a good story. This was in the late 90s. This was like 97. I'm in Canada. I'm playing in the CFL with the Ticats. I'm watching the Bulls play the Jazz, the Utah Jazz. And me and a bunch of other players, we was watching the game, and I said this out loud. And I said, you know what? I want to see Utah win the championship. I want to see Karl Malone and John Stockton win over Jordan. I'm tired of Jordan winning. And if you could have seen everybody else in that room turn around and look at me, everybody was mean mugging me immediately. Like, what did you say? Like, I got looks from dudes like was ready to fight.
Right.
But that kind of lends to your point, like the fever of Michael Jordan was at We had never seen anything like it up until that point. There were better athletes and better players. In my opinion, the best NBA player ever was Bill Russell. You know, I didn't see him play, but he got more rings than anybody. All of a sudden, that doesn't count anymore. So,
Yeah, that's true.
you know, if you want to say who's the best basketball player, the physical specimen ever, it's got to be LeBron James. Because people forget LeBron James came out of high school and started doing it immediately.
Yeah.
It took him a while to win the championship.
I got to tell you, man, I was all happy. I was really happy listening to what I said, and then you said a bunch of things that Michael Jordan fans would say.
Exactly. And let me be honest with you. I'm not a Michael Jordan fan. I mean, I am a Michael Jordan fan, but I'm not a rabid Jordan is.
No, I know. You're not the insane cult. No, you're not the insane cult.
But I understand the way media works, and I understand why people have the fandom that they have. It is what it is.
Well, that Michael Jordan, John Stockton story. I'll give you. Let me try to one up that. I had Scottie Pippen on for an interview. Really nice guy. Pippen is like really nice. He'll do interviews, and he comes on my show. And of course, in the chat room, I get all the same things over and over. Oh, LeBron sexual. Oh, Michael Jordan hater. Oh, you're jealous of Michael Jordan. All the same old things that these Gatorade drinkers come up with all the time, right? And
Gatorade drinker.
What ended up happening was. I was like, look, Scotty, look, you know how they are. I'm not trying to embarrass you. If you want to leave, don't worry. He's like, no, listen, I know how people love Michael Jordan. In fact, I go, well, do you want to take calls? He's like, yeah. I put a Michael Jordan fan on, and I go, okay, listen, man, be nice. Why do you think Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time? And this is what he said. You could play it's on tape. He said something like, I don't have the exact words. He said something like, one of the reasons Michael Jordan is the number one NBA player of all time is because even his missed shots were nice. And it gets even better. The guy tells me that apparently someone else on YouTube made some video analyzing Michael Jordan's missed shots and determining that they were so nice, it's another reason why he's the number one NBA player of all time. Who says this in any sport? Have you ever heard someone say Babe Ruth is the greatest baseball player of all time because every time he dived for a ball in the air, he missed it, but it looked nice?
I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. You just gonna have people like that.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying. There's no one like that in sport. No, that's what I want to convince you. There's bad sports fans everywhere. There's no doubt about it.
Convince me, bro. Here's my logic.
They're the worst sports fans of all time.
My opinion is not for you to change your mind. My opinion is my own. So I tell people all the time, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one.
Amen.
You know what I mean? So my opinion
true.
on a certain subject is not meant to try to change your mind. If I tell you what I think, that's just what I think. I'm not trying to change your mind because I look at it like this. If we watch the same tape and you come up with something different, we watch the same tape. Why are you seeing something different? Now I can explain to you why I see what I see, why I thought this or that. But at the end of the day, we watched the same tape. He hit the same jump shot. They scored the same touchdown. Now you might have differences of opinion on how they got there, what caused it, the catalyst of it, things like cause and effect. But the results are results. So, and you're gonna have people that are gonna ride or die with it and don't want to change up. That's just the nature of the beast right now.
But see, there's a couple things you want to consider. I actually have no problem if someone said, hey, I love Michael Jordan. He's my favorite. He's my hero, whatever. Those are all opinions. No one's right or wrong. It's like somebody saying, is blue or green better? There's no right or wrong. That's an opinion. But if someone starts saying analytics are reliable, or this guy beat that guy, or you know what, this era is better than that era, and so on. Now they're making claims, and you can't prove those things because they're not true. But then they act like, but then they go, well, we all agree to disagree. It's all a matter of opinion. They're not understanding. They're not opinions. They're claiming something's true, and then they have no proof, and then they start flipping out because they know they got no proof, but they're too prideful to admit it, and they have a desperate need to make themselves feel like they won. You know, like one great example. I have no problem if you said Bill Russell is the greatest. That's actually a very good point. He might be the greatest. But then I wonder why go by rings? Because one guy doesn't win and lose rings. So that's what I meant earlier when I said I'm happy with the stuff you're saying, but then I go, you say some things that Michael Jordan fans would say, it's like, oh, what happened?
Yeah, but here's the bottom line, and we're gonna have to land this plane right here.
Excuse me to interrupt, Coach, and everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I have to leave and put my wings on.
Put your wings on. Don't be a stranger. Thank you for
Thank you.
jumping in.
Absolutely, absolutely. Have a good evening, everyone.
Got it.
Dr. J
Go
was
Birds.
Bye bye now.
Thank you. Dr. J was better than Michael Jordan, no doubt about it.
Yeah. So I mean, but at the end of the day, like I said, sometimes it regardless of what you say, it's not going to change somebody's mind, and I'm okay with that. So I'm like, I'm to the point now. I don't fight that battle. So because people gonna think what they want to think.
That's true.
You know, Jalen Hurts. People think he's not a good quarterback. Why? That's a whole conversation. You know what I mean? But you can tell me the guy that you like that throws for 4,000 yards in the season and all of those touchdowns, and ask him, does he have a ring? No. So what's more important? And what it comes down to is, for me and us in this city and on this team, we got the guys that we got to make it work. Period. Are there guys that are probably better or more talented or taller or bigger arm? All of that kind of stuff. The answer is yes. So I'm to the point now where if you ask me any question, if this guy is the greatest, or what do you think, or this, that, and the other, my answer is yes, whatever. Because there's nothing that I'm going to say that's going to change your mind. So
I know you said you're about to wrap. You sound like you're about to wrap this up. So I don't want to mess up the show. Can I follow up to what you're saying, or are you wrapping it up?
No. Sure, go ahead.
I don't want you. I really try to be respectful for people's shows. I don't want you to think I'm hijacking or taking over. So it's if you keep me on, man, I'm gonna a lot of things to bring up, man. So let's go to the rings thing. This is why I was saying earlier that I get happy in some of the things you're saying, and then I go, oh, he's saying something a Michael Jordan fan would say. The rings thing. Since you played football, you know, no matter how many rushes you get, no matter how many yards you get, no matter how many passes you make, and so on, you're not going to win by yourself. One guy can't win and lose. So why go, this guy is better than that guy because he has one or more rings?
Because that's what people do. I can't answer that question.
Michael Jordan fans.
Huh?
Remember I said that all started with Michael Jordan fans. Like, in other words, whenever you hear someone say rings, ask them where they rank Michael Jordan. There's a very good chance they're going to put him near the top. And the pattern fits. It's mostly Michael Jordan.
I agree with that, because it's not a rings thing. Because if you want to look at rings, then it would be Bill Russell. If you want to look at rings, it would be Robert Ory.
Or John Havlicek or Kareem.
Correct. So it doesn't. And again, I'm not. What did Wesley Snipes say? Like, you trying to ice skate uphill.
Oh, I thought you were going to say always bet on black. Never mind.
No. Like, basically, it goes back to what I said before. You're not wrong, but people that think that way, people that are rabid Jordan fans, or, you know, Jordan's the best, period, they don't want to have a conversation. They don't want to look at the other details or explore any other options. They don't. So I'm like, okay.
No, you're right. So I was asking, but you, maybe I misunderstood. I thought you go by rings. No,
I didn't hear you.
No, I thought maybe I misunderstood. I thought you go by rings. No.
No, rings are important though, because you have to be good enough to get there to the ring. And you're also talking about a little bit different when you're talking about football to basketball. Mm-hmm. Basketball, one player can take over a game. You can't do that in football.
So Michael, name me a great player in basketball who you thought could take over a game, and I'm going to follow up to that.
That could take over a game?
Yeah.
Jordan could take over a game.
Okay, most years he didn't win a ring.
Correct. But that's not the question you asked. You asked, could you take over a game? You could go in the annals in the NBA history and find games where Jordan just wrecked shop. Now, I think the specific question you asking for is, when did he take over the games in the finals?
No, but the reason I brought that up is because you know how you were saying football is different from basketball, and you're basically making the point. I'm not putting words in your mouth, but you're basically making the point that basketball is different because one guy can take over where he can help his team win. And I've heard this argument from Michael Jordan fans: football, baseball is different than basketball. Basketball, one guy can take over, win a ring. So I asked you, when did Mike name a player who can take over? Because I wanted to see whoever name you bring up. Michael Jordan, Artis Gilmore, Elgin Baylor, whoever, none of them could win a ring by themselves ever. And if I'm wrong, then how would you explain that there's more years where they lost than they won?
Because you're right. Now, you can't win a championship by yourself.
Right.
But if you're talking about a game, and you can go in the playoffs in certain situations, and anybody can cherry pick any situation.
Sure.
I could go in and cherry pick games where Jordan went off or Allen Iverson went off, and what's the biggest play for Allen Iverson when he hit that shot and steps over Tyronn Lue? We lost the series.
But I don't blame Allen Iverson.
No. My point is, but everybody remembers that moment. He took over that game.
Right. That's my point. Right.
But you didn't get the ultimate prize.
That's my point. No matter how good Allen Iverson is, or Michael Jordan is, or Babe Ruth is, or whatever, you can't win and lose by yourself. So therefore, why act like this guy is better than that guy because he has one or more rings?
Because that's what people do. That's what fans do.
But I thought you were one of those people, no?
No, I look at the game as it exists. Saquon Barkley was the best running back the Eagles have had. He got 2,000 yards last season. And people swore up and down he took over the games. In some games, he did. But in the Super Bowl, they had him boxed out. So you can't win that game. And even the games that he did have 160, 170 yards. If the offensive line is not doing what they got to do, he doesn't do what he did. So when it comes to football, you got a lot more machinations that have to work together. Basketball, you can isolate somebody one-on-one that came down the court 5 times in a row and hit 3 threes. Or every time Steph Curry, you couldn't stop him. Every time he got the ball in his head, he dropped a 3. So there are people in the NBA that had moments like that, and they did have moments like that in the finals. But did they win because it was all on him? No, nobody could do that.
Right. No, I'm with you. So that's why I'm not trying to like drag this on. I'm just trying to understand. So I'm getting a lot of clues that you're saying, look, I know one guy doesn't win and lose. It's a team game, no doubt. I get that. But then I get other clues where you're putting out a guy to win and lose, and you're ranking players partly based on rings.
Because rings matter. But I think you're looking at 2 different things. You're looking at how you get there and then the end result.
Like Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain did everything. Score, rebound, block. He did everything. So he could, if you want to talk about a guy taking over, it'd be like Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain, Artis Gilmore, a big guy where no one can stop. And then you find out they have more losses than wins. So if we go by your logic about taking over and basketball is different, then those guys should have rings every year.
Nah, because, looking realistically, I know it doesn't work that way.
Right, exactly, because it's a team game. So Michael Jordan, let's forget the other guys. Michael Jordan, everybody knows. Michael Jordan fans tell us this all the time, how he took over. He had that dog in him, the killer instinct. He was the man. And you find out year after year after year after year he lost. And then when you ask them why, now all of a sudden it becomes a team game. Like it works like this. When he wins, it's because of him. When he loses, it's not him, it's a team. And then when another star wins, oh, they had a super team. They played in a weak league. They just, they were so strong and all that. And then when they lose, they go, it's not the team that lost, it's the star that lost. In other words, they just move the goalposts of when to count rings and when not to. That's what I'm trying to figure out. With Michael Jordan, let's say I agree with you that he took over, isolate one-on-one, fourth quarter and all that. Then how would you explain all the other times he lost?
That's because that's what people do. I'm not trying to explain it. It is what it is. People have skewed visions when it's their guy.
So are you just to make sure, are you agreeing with them or disagreeing with them?
No, dude, it's either way, man.
Either way.
It works. It works both ways sometimes. You could, because again, you can go back to there are situations where Jordan took over games and Jordan was absolutely incredible.
No, he never took over.
And then there's also situations where, you know what, he doesn't win that title if Horry doesn't hit that shot.
No, make it a clutch shot.
If Steve Kerr don't hit that shot, they don't win that title.
Or if someone doesn't get the rebound, or someone doesn't block out or screen. But I don't think
you can. But the reason why I say it goes both sides is because you're not wrong. But in every one of those situations, you can say, are they even in that position if Jordan doesn't play?
Well, but no, that's a great question. But then we have to go into another topic of how do teams do when they miss a guy, and that goes to the topic of a team can win or lose. Dr. J made a great point when Kareem was injured and Magic took over. He said, "Yeah, Kareem was gone, but you know what? That became a different team." So if we go to logic that what happens if Michael Jordan's not there? Well,
Bulls made it to the finals with Scottie Pippen, but they didn't win.
And they won 2 less games without Michael Jordan. So I think people are simplifying it way too much, like a video game. Like, okay, it's the fourth quarter, it's 30 seconds left, they isolate everyone, it's one-on-one. Look, Michael Jordan did it by himself. But that's not the whole game or the whole playoffs or the whole season then. And even if I'm wrong, how do they explain all the other years Michael Jordan was there and they lost?
Dude, and that's why I say that's what fans do.
But I respectfully, man, I thought you're doing
Bro,
the same thing.
you fighting the wrong battle, man. That's
But
what fans do.
I
They
thought
are
you're doing the same.
illogical. That's why they call them fans. That means they're fanatic. They are for their guy, hell or high water, right or wrong.
No,
That's
no,
what
that's
fanatics
true.
do.
That's true. You're not those people. I know, no doubt about it. You're not those cult member, Gatorade drinking, Hanes underwear wearing weirdos. I get that. But I'm saying some of the points you're making are the same points that they make, no?
Correct. And that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. Two
Oh.
things can be true at the same time. So some things I agree with, some things I don't. But you're not wrong. I understand how them fans work, but like I told you, I don't care. I don't care what they act like because you're not gonna change how they act.
No, that's true. That's true. But
So I don't concern myself with that.
I feel scared to bring it up because we're getting along so good. I don't want to get annoyed, but I'm still trying to understand, man. But you say you're doing the same thing they do, but then it's like if you know they're wrong, why are you doing it? I don't get it.
Because there's truth in everything.
Not in this. The one guy cannot win and lose by himself in an NBA game. Cannot happen.
No, I agree with you, but you do have to take into consideration how good Jordan was. Jordan did some crazy stuff.
Well, yeah, but lots of stars are great and do crazy stuff. That doesn't mean
You're right. Then it goes back to what I said about the era that they were in. The era, that era predated everything. That was the start. That was the golden era.
In terms of
that's why everybody looks at it the way that they do.
Right. Okay, so are you saying
you notice don't nobody talk about when Jordan played baseball?
Oh, actually, you're right, but there are some people. By the way, a Michael Jordan fan told me that if Michael Jordan wanted to, he could have been the greatest baseball player of all time. Have you ever heard someone say
one of the greatest baseball players? You know what the greatest baseball player is
Michael Jordan?
No, the greatest baseball player was either Barry Bonds or damn it, the greatest hitter. What's his name? He passed away a couple years ago.
Hank Aaron?
No.
Willie Mays?
No.
Pete Rose. Oh, Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn. Thank you.
He passed away a long time ago. Yeah, no.
Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, no. You got to go by statistics. There's no stats that show he's the greatest hitter of all time.
No, but I did see 3 pitchers say collectively. Who was it? Tom Glavine. And another guy that played
Greg Maddux, and who am I? You may have seen the same thing. Like I got those. I interviewed one of them, and Greg Maddux, and I put the other videos on my page.
Well, and also, again, that's my opinion. And listen, I'm from Cincinnati, bro.
Oh, Pete Roseland. You picked Tony Gwynn over Pete Rose?
Exactly.
Wow. How did that happen?
But I look at it from this standpoint. Every time Tony Gwynn stepped up the bat, he hit the ball. But
you don't go by stats?
He's not gonna be. I'm a ride or die for Pete Rose because I met Pete Rose. I grew up with Pete Rose. I grew up with Barry Larkin. I went to school and played against Ken Griffey Jr. So nice. I understand that Cincinnati aspect of it. So I ride or die with Pete Rose. What they did to him I thought it was BS. But
this is what they did. Yeah, no. By the way, to be fair, I actually want to correct myself. When I said to you, you don't go by stats or whatever, there's actually no such thing as the greatest hitter of all time or greatest baseball player of all time, or for that matter, greatest basketball player of all time. But let's say we go by who's the greatest hitter. You don't go by stats because there's people who have better stats than Tony Gwynn.
No. I agree. I agree 100%. But I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at it from the pure standpoint because I play baseball. Mm-hmm. You know how hard it is to hit the ball every time you step up to the plate.
No, I'm agreeing. No, I actually think that baseball players.
So I agree with what you said, but that's a personal bias with me and Tony Gwynn because I watched it happen. Yeah, and I also watched. Like I said, I knew Ken Griffey in high school.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I saw that. I was front and center with Barry Larkin. Matter of fact, Pete Rose. I was at the game when he broke the record.
Oh, nice.
My dad took me to the game. So
nice.
But it's all on your perspective, man. It's all on your perspective.
Okay, so I keep thinking you're about to end it, so I don't want you to feel like I'm hogging time. Can I follow up, or you ended it?
No, I got it. End it.
Okay, all right, no problem.
What time is it? We hour 34.
All right, thanks for having me on. Great show. Let me know if you ever want to go on my show. Then
you have to let me know. Send me the information. You got my Twitter feed.
I'm not on Twitter, man. A lot of Michael Jordan fans are on there. You know. No, you got an email? Is your email on your page?
Hit me up at profantalk@gmail.
Is it on your page? Is it listed? I can just copy
Should
and
be.
paste. Is your email on your page or no?
I don't know. Just do it. Profantalk@gmail.com.
Okay. All right. Thanks for having me on. You were very nice, and I hope your show. This like at least you gave me a lot of time. And Michael Jordan fans are the worst sports fans of all time.
All right.
All right. Later.
Take care, man.
Thank you too.
Well, that was fun. Little change in pace, but we got it done. I will be going back tonight. I will be back on at 10:30 tonight. We're gonna talk about the recap, all the games. Dallas has brought it back 14-17. It's not even the second half yet, so a minute 50 left in the second quarter. So, but I gotta watch a lot of pre-games. I gotta connect with my boy Tone, so we can talk about some things. And I'm gonna have a recap tonight at 10:30 p.m. Tonight. So that was fun. Robbie said, "What does this dude have against Gatorade?" I don't know, man. I don't know. He was making some good points, though. He was making some good points. I understand what he was trying to say about the Jordan fans. I experienced that firsthand, and people, to me, that was the beginning of the end of discussions. Nobody wanted to watch discussions, and everything was based on what they saw on television. Most people didn't get into stats and all that other kind of stuff. So, I get where he's coming from, and like I said, that's why I use the comp with Cowboys fans and stuff like that. And people say the same thing about Eagles fans, so I understand it. It is what it is. So, but it was certainly a good conversation today. There's always a good conversation after a win. Always a good conversation after win. So I'm gonna bow out. I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna go get me something to eat, and I'm gonna reconvene, study some notes. I can't wait to look at this tape and look at the first half of that tape tomorrow. Oh my God, I want to see the first half of that game, the pass patterns, the blocking protections, all that type of stuff, man. We got a lot to talk about. So, but your Philadelphia Eagles are 3-0. Go Birds.